Okay, Unit 12, Section 3. We're talking about tangents in circles. A tangent line is a line that intersects the circle at exactly one point, called the point of tangency. This line AB on the left-hand side, what point touches the circle? A. So point A would be the point of tangency for the example on the left. Can a tangent line go all the way through the circle? Well, if the tangent line can only intercept the circle one time, you can't have a line that goes completely through the circle, because that would intersect twice, right? These ones that intersect twice are called secant lines, but we're going to focus on tangents today. There is a part down below that you need to know what a secant line is. That just means it intersects twice. So, a tangent line or a line is tangent to a circle if and only if it is perpendicular to a radius drawn to the point of tangency. Okay, so where's my radius in circle P over here? Which segment is my radius in circle P? PA is the radius. So PA must be perpendicular to AB if AB is a tangent line. What does perpendicular mean? 90 degrees. So I see a lot of people making like a T motion with their hands. They intersect at a 90-degree angle, which makes them perpendicular. Do you see the right angle right here? That means that the radius and the tangent line are perpendicular. Moving down below. If you have a tangent and a secant that intersect, so my point of tangency would be A, and that's also where those two lines intersect, then the measure of each angle formed is equal to half the measure of its intercepted arc. So if I'm talking about angle 1, what is the name of the intercepted arc for angle 1? AB. So it has to be the endpoints there. So if I'm talking about angle 1, the relationship of angle 1 is going to be half the measure of arc AB. What other angles did we learn about that were half the measure of its arc? Starts with an I. It was on the homework. Inscribed angles. So if you want to make a note, inscribed angles have the same relationship. Inscribed angles have that relationship too. All right, so let's try the other angle. Angle 2, what is the intercepted arc for angle 2? Say that again. Not still AB. So angle 2 opens to the right. So this blue angle, or this blue arc, will be the intercepted arc for angle 2. ACB. ACB is good. BCA is good. You just need to know that the C has to be in the center because you have to start on one side and go to the other. So the measure of angle 2 will be half the measure of arc ACB. So you're going to solve these just like you did on worksheet 2 of your inscribed angles, because those have the same relationships. Going down to number, okay, that should be number 1. You can get rid of the numbers on there, sorry. These are just examples. So the first example, I want to know the measure of angle DEG. So I'm going to mark that off on my paper. Which is longer, or sorry, not longer. Which angle is, which is larger? The measure of this angle or the measure of its intercepted arc? Is the arc or the angle supposed to be larger? The arc. The arc is twice as much as the angle is, because the angle is half as much as the arc. So if I have the arc, which is bigger, what am I going to do to get the angle? Divide by 2. So the measure of angle DEG is 154 degrees. Very good. You ready for the next one? Okay, the measure of angle DBC is right here. I need to know that angle, which is half of its intercepted arc. Do I know what this arc is yet? Nope. How would I determine what that arc equals so then I could end up solving for the angle? Say that again? Not sure. Chloe, what'd you say? Oh, someone over here said something. How do I figure out what this arc is if I know the rest of the circle? 360 and subtract 192 would give me the rest of the circle, because one full circle in degrees is 360 degrees. So you subtract those two, what do you get? 168. Very good. Make sure you borrow correctly. 168. But that's this arc. Am I trying to find the arc or an angle? Angle. The measure of angle DBC. DBC is right here. What do I do with the arc to find the angle? Divide it by 2. 168 divided by 2, and the measure of angle DBC is 84 degrees. Questions about the second example? Can we move on to the third one? Okay, I'm going to highlight the arc that I'm trying to find, which is XY. It's very, very small, but it's over here. So let's think about this. Our answer has to be clearly less than 180, right? That's not half of a circle. Do you know what arc is the intercepted arc for angle WXY? Sorry, what are the letters that are the intercepted arc for WXY? Nope. XZY matches that angle there, right? So that's the intercepted arc there. If I can find that intercepted arc, then it will add with the other arc to get 360, right? Because that's all the way around the circle now. So how do I find this blue arc over here? Subtract what from 360? 151 is an angle, so yes, I need to multiply it by 2 to get the arc. If you're going from arc to angle or angle to arc, should be multiplying. So I'm going to multiply by 2. Good. 302 is the degrees of this blue arc. How do I find the yellow arc? 360 minus 302. Good. 58. So the measure of arc XY is 58 degrees. Questions? All right. Moving down. Thank you. Okay, so these are the same. It just has a little algebra with it. So what would I do if I know the arc but want to find how much this angle equals in here? You know the intercepted arc. How do you find the angle of a tangent and a secant line? Okay, so you can multiply this angle by 2 to get the 140. But if I ignored this right here, and I just said, what is the degrees of that angle? What would you tell me? 70. How did you get 70? Divide 140 by 2 and you get 70, right? So if you're going from an arc to an angle, you need to go from the bigger one to the smaller one. So we're dividing to get to that angle. If that angle is 70, but it's also 6x minus 38, you can set those two things equal to each other. How do you solve this? Add 38. And then divide by 6. If you wanted to double this angle and set it equal to 140, you would get the same answer. 108 divided by 6 is 18. Awesome. And that's what it's asking for. On your test, you want to make sure, is it asking for x or is it asking for the measure of a certain angle or an arc? So just please make sure you're following instructions. Questions? Okay, we're going to do one more together. Let's go ahead and do number 3 together. The measure of angle BED is 15x minus 47. So BED I need to create, oh sorry, that's arc BED right here. So that's 15x minus 47. The measure of BD is the shortest distance. What does that give you? Measure of angle BD is 9x minus 1. We want to find one of these angles, but in order to find that angle, I need to know what the arc equals first. This created one full circle. What will you do with these in order to solve for x? Very good. Add them together. 15x minus 47 plus 9x minus 1, and set them equal to one full circle, which is 360 degrees. Okay, our like terms here. What's 15x plus 9x? 24x. What's negative 47 minus 1? Negative 48. How do I solve this? Add 48. 24x equals 408. What do I do now? Divide by 24. What is 408 divided by 24? 17? Is that my answer? No. Find the measure of angle CBD. Angle CBD is here. Let's make it another color. Okay. How do I find that angle? What do I have to find before I find that angle? 9x minus 1. We have to find this arc first. So we're going to do 9 times what number minus 1? 17. What's 9 times 17? 153 minus 1 is? Okay, so this arc is 152 degrees. Is that my answer? No. What do I do with the arc to get the angle? Divide by 2. 152 divided by 2 is? Awesome. 76 is the answer to the measure of angle CBD. 76 degrees.